Muted.
Use. And at the end of that, we are going to have a quick look at the partner program. And if you have any questions at any moment, then please feel free to type them in the chat, and we will do our very best to try and answer those. But the objective for me today is to give you a bit of background on Parallels, and also make sure that we cover off how we're approaching our partners to ensure that we're giving them maximum value. So let me just go full screen. Just bear with me. Get rid of this somehow. I'm not really sure how to do it. And I must also apologize because typically I use WebEx. So this is a slightly new venture for me. So for those of you that have not seen Remote Application Server before, basically what we are trying to do with Remote Application Server is to give you a seamless application and virtualized, well, VDI if you like, desktop and delivery to any device anywhere. Now, in terms of where Remote Application Server has come from, Remote Application Server for many people has actually come from a product that the team at Parallels launched around 2001, 2002. And that's the ability to run Windows on a Mac. So if you were to walk into an Apple store, for example, you could buy that solution off the shelf. You could buy Windows 10 off the shelf for delivery of Windows 10 in parallel with the Mac OS. In addition to that, around 2005, 2006, the business introduced another solution, which is a Mac management solution. I must try and minimize this if I can. No. Okay, I'm not sure that I can minimize it. So the business then introduced a Mac management solution for Microsoft SCCM, which gave you the ability to manage Macs through the same SCCM environment that you would manage your Windows solutions, which has also gone down particularly well with our customer base. Now, the product that we're going to talk about today is a solution that came to fruition around 2015 with Parallels, and this is the Remote Application Server solution. And the idea behind this is around the delivery of application desktop, as I mentioned earlier, to pretty much any device or any OS. And as it states at the top here, we're just trying to make it as simplistic as possible through a single pane of glass to Mac, Windows, iOS, Android, or even through the cloud, depending on whether you're working with Azure or whether you're working with AWS. We work with many organizations around the world. Our head office is based in Seattle, which again, you'll probably be aware is the home of Microsoft. So there was a close affinity between the two organizations. But we do have success across pretty much every single vertical. And the business is going from strength to strength. Remote Application Server, of course, has to be not only a comprehensive solution for the delivery of applications and server-based desktops, but also it needs to be secure. And you'll see when I go through these slides how we've approached that to ensure that the comprehensive approach to it is also in line with a secure solution to ensure that we're protecting any business, whether it be application or desktop delivery. In terms of the Windows and desktop delivery, we're using Microsoft's RDS and RDSH. In fact, also all the major hypervisors. Again, we'll cover off that shortly. Simply Windows is around application delivered pretty much to any natively designed device, whether that be a phone, whether that be a tablet, whether that be a traditional laptop or PC. And we want to make sure that from an OS perspective, not only do we support those devices, but also we give you the ability to deliver the RAS solution through HTML5 So if you're in an environment whereby you don't have access to a device, you can still gain access to your desktop or to one of those applications that you may want to be using. And in addition, we had to ensure in the new sort of ever-changing digital transformation world that we're operating in, that we gave these customers that we work with the ability to have both on-premise, cloud, or hybrid solutions in line with pretty much every single hyper-converged solution. And you can see a few of those mentioned there, Nutanix, Metropolis, etc. Moving on, in terms of the 4 pillars that we focus our energy on, as I mentioned previously, security is number 1. We have to ensure that we give really effective and secure environments to every customer that we have. And with that in mind, we ensure that we have alignment to all the major protocols, and of course ensure that where there's requirements for things like multi-factor authentication, USB lockdown, etc., of course that's also built directly into that single pane of glass that I mentioned earlier. In terms of delivery, to make it as simplistic as possible, we employ as many different wizards as possible to really improve that solution and make sure it's as quickly and as seamlessly as possible. And not only that, we align to things like PowerShell, again, to try and simplify that solution. From a user experience point of view, it really doesn't matter what device that you're using Parallels RAS on. The experience is exactly the same, and we have exactly the same approach from, as it mentions there, from a policies perspective. Now, the great thing about that, of course, in terms of deployment, it's very quick and easy to deploy, because actually, whether you're running it on one device or another, the training that you require for its delivery is exactly the same. And as I've mentioned a few times, we do support out of the box both Microsoft's Azure solution and Amazon's web service to ensure that we do give maximum flexibility to the customers. Because in many cases, we're experiencing now, we've got customers whom actually are entertaining the cloud, but still have environments that are operating on premise. And so therefore, in terms of that redeployment to the cloud, it's not necessarily as quick and easy as possible. So we do give our customers the ability to have both experiences. From a core features perspective, I'll quickly go through these because many of them are going to be covered when we look at the demo. We focus on, there's going to be 6 different core features that we focus on here. And I would certainly say from a sweet spot perspective, we're seeing, great success in the deliveries of applications. And as it mentions there, utilizing RDSH and VDI, etc. And we want to ensure that those applications are really quick and easy to access. It doesn't matter what OS you're actually delivering them on. And actually, typically for the delivery of application, you can do it in minutes. And actually through Azure, it can take you slightly longer than that, but it's still in excess, it's still less than the sort of 10-minute time frame to deliver an application out to your user base, which is really impressive. From a setup and installation perspective, we need to ensure that it's really quick and easy in terms of accessing those applications. So ensuring obviously the secure environments that we are delivering, we make it pretty much a zero setup in terms of that installation, because it's all developed and delivered through that single pane of glass that I've mentioned. And then of course for delivery of higher intensity graphics, we do offer remote FX support, and I'm sure Paul will mention that when he talks about the demo. Cloud ready, really quick and easily, and very easy to scale. And of course, if you're a business that, as I mentioned earlier, isn't sure they want to move to the cloud, then we do give you the ability to have that hybrid solution. And it's something that's very popular at the moment. To ensure that from a delivery point of view, we support the web environment. You are able to also deliver applications through HTML5 very quickly and easily. And I'm sure that Paul will show that. the other thing that you're able to do within the HTML5 environment, you're able to customize that environment. So actually, if your business wants the look and feel that is customer logos, colors, etc., you can deliver that very quickly and easily through the console. It's as simple as uploading the logos and graphics, and then setting the color schemes, and it automatically does it for you. Moving on, we do have the ability for universal printing. So from a plug and play perspective, we have it out of the box that you'll be able to connect to any printer, both utilizing the devices that you're using, but also from an HTML5 perspective, and there's automatic redirection for print capabilities. From a management point of view, we do have certain management tools built directly into the console to give the ability to manage those devices. But to be clear, this isn't an MDM solution, but it does give you certain management solutions which enable you to manage those PCs. But it is only PCs, to be clear. We also give you the ability to turn devices, Windows devices, into thin clients through a kiosk mode, again built into the tool, and then the ability to shadow applications and desktops if you want to support your organization utilizing that way. The last thing that you have built in there is you're able to set series of rules utilizing the client policies element, which enables you to manage the Parallels clients for things like display, resourcing, authentication, and so on. From a device point of view and from an end user experience point of view, these are just a few of the environments that you can utilize: Android, iPhone, obviously Windows and Mac, Chromebook, HTML5. But in addition to that, you can also deliver through Raspberry Pi as an example. And the other environment that we also support, although we don't support the devices, is the BlackBerry environment, because you can deliver that through HTML5, but we don't have a specific client for the BlackBerry devices. From a flexibility point of view, to ensure that we support legacy applications as much as more recent applications, we do actually support devices that are supported and hosted through as far back as Windows Server 2003. I believe the competition solutions out in the marketplace only go back as Server 2008, and also we support the delivery of applications right as far back as Windows XP. And of course, again, another unsupported solution from Microsoft. I mentioned earlier hypervisors. We do support all the major hypervisors, as you would expect, as well as we do actually align to, so we do have reference architecture that support all the major OEM hyperconvergent solutions, including Nutanix, HPE, Lenovo. And as I mentioned a few times, from a cloud provider perspective, we support both Microsoft and Amazon. This is just an example of a university case study. This university was looking for basically the delivery of applications to both iOS and Android devices that we were very as well as applications around Office 365, and we gave them a very quick and easy methodology for delivery to those devices. And actually they were very impressed, both from the application delivery but also the management of those particular applications, as well as the cost. Because one of the things that we also pride ourselves on is making sure that we are super cost effective for our customer base. From a delivery point of view, out of the box, if you go to our website, we have the ability to deliver a 30-day free trial on Parallels RAS, both utilizing either from a proof of concept perspective, your own data center environments. We have an out-of-the-box experience, which is managed through our own systems. And lastly, if you happen to be utilizing Microsoft's Azure or AWS, then we give you the ability to actually deliver that trial directly through that system. Very quick and easy in terms of that setup. All you do is go to the website, as I mentioned, you click on the try now, and it takes you through that process very quickly. Okay, So I'm going to try and hand over to Paul, and then I'll give you some background on the partner program and, more importantly, what it means to you from a business point of view, because I'm obviously here not only to support your customer base, but I'm also here to ensure that we can make you guys some nice money through working with you, because at the end of the day, we're about supporting you as much as we are supporting our customers. So I've got to figure out how we pass this. I'll stop my screen.
Morning, Malcolm. Thank you. I've just there we go.
Perfect.
Just requested it, so it's looking good. So if you could just confirm, you can see my screen okay and hear me okay?
Yep, all good. Thank you, Paul.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah, just introduce myself really quickly. My name's Paul Fisher. I'm a sales engineer based out of the UK, but covering EMEA. So yeah, hopefully in the future we can work together on some opportunities. But to give you an overview, what I'll do is just start by connecting to one of my management servers within my setup here, remote access server setup, and start really just by looking at the designer. So under the farm here, looking at the designer, it's a good place to start to give you an idea of the components that are in the environment. So here you can see sort of at the front we've got the secure client gateways. Now this is the sort of the area which when users are connecting remotely, they secure up the connections. So we're over RDP primarily, but we encrypt that connection. So if they're connected in remotely here, they'll essentially, if they're ending up at a terminal server which is hosting their remote application or their desktop, then they can connect remotely to that desktop there securely. You can also see in the environment here we've got virtual desktop hosts. So this is where we're supporting the true VDI, as we would say, where we've got a one-to-one relationship with the desktop OS or maybe applications as well. We can publish just applications off those desktops. And also we've got in the bottom right hand corner, remote PCs. So this is supporting physical PCs that are in the organization. Maybe it's underneath someone's desk and they're sort of using it throughout the day normally, and they want to go home and carry on working, then they can do that. Or perhaps blade PCs in the data center to provide more power. And the other component down at the bottom, which is perhaps the most important, it's the brains of the operation, if you like. It's the publishing agent, also known as connection brokers. So that's what's deciding what resources the users get and what desktop they go into, what applications they're allowed to see, etc., etc. So one point here is obviously we're looking at this console, and as Malcolm mentioned, it is one console that manages all the infrastructure. So those components that I've gone across already, secure gateways, whether we're managing the remote clients, whether we're also load balancing these components here. We also within our license provide a virtual appliance which can do network load balancing. You can of course use existing F5s and the like if you've got that already within the solution, but again, it's important to note that it's one license that's managing or that gives you access to all these components in here, and really that gives us a very agnostic solution set. So as Malcolm alluded to in the slides, we support all the major hypervisors, but if we take the scenario as we're giving you the flexibility to create a solution that best suits your customers. So it may be that the majority of the users are task-based users and they want a full desktop. So we can provide them a full desktop experience from a terminal server, which is far more cost-effective than giving them all desktops from sort of true VDI, as we say. However, there might be a subset of users that need virtual desktops, so we can provide that. And again, as Malcolm mentioned, that we support all the different hypervisors. You could utilize existing hypervisors that the customers already have got, or you could go down a more cost-effective route, which might be Hyper-V in the instance of a particular customer, utilizing their their existing Microsoft agreements. But in order to publish applications or any desktops, then we obviously need something to publish to. In my environment here, I've just got a terminal server, but in terms of adding wizards that Malcolm mentioned as well, it's very simple to set up. So here we can see across the top here, we've got access to the wizards very quickly. So I can add a new server if I wish. I'm not going to in this demo, but by simply putting in the server name, clicking next and finish, that is all we need to do really to get a server into the environment. And you can see there's some helpful tasks here it'll do. It'll add firewall rules, it'll install the RDS role as well, so we don't need to worry about which Microsoft component we have to put on those terminal servers. It'll enable the desktop experience, restart, and also add users to the remote desktop user group, which is something, even though I've been in the industry sort of coming up to 10 years, I still forget to do. So this is a very nice feature to help you get up and running quickly. And I'm going to say there's wizards for all the different components that you might want to add, and here gives an example of the different hypervisors that are available. And again, next. A few clicks, you've got a new VDI host to provision VDI instances on. Similarly with the remote PC and gateways. But moving on a little bit, I'm going to show you how quickly and easy it is to publish a new application. So here we can see we've already got some applications defined. In a Windows 10 desktop, which is actually session host desktop, but it looks like Windows 10. But if I go down to another wizard and click add here, for applications, you can see I've got a number of options. Application, which is what I'll step through in a minute, but just to give you a sense of other things that we can do, we have got direct API integration to turbo.net, so we can very quickly, again with a few clicks, connect to their public API and publish applications from their set, which is application virtualization, so we don't need to install those on our terminal server, in this instance, our session host server. It gets streamed down from turbo.net and then runs in its own containerized bubble, virtualized bubble. We can publish a full desktop from here. If we wanted just to publish, a Word document or any sort of document, we can do that as well. Links to web applications, whether that's kind of internally, i.e. on the session, or actually at the client side, we can do that. And we can also publish just UNC path with a bunch of files in there. But if I carry on through the application piece, I'm going to select the session host because that's what we've got. Again, now we get a couple of options. I'm going to choose installed applications because this is a nice feature. What this will do is, if I've got a group of terminal servers, what it'll do is it'll query the installed applications on that group of terminal servers and just give me that set back, so that are common across each terminal server. Which means then we don't get any publishing errors down the line. But what I'll do is I'm going to go and publish a couple of Microsoft Office applications. And we'll go next, and finish. So there we can see those applications have been created. I have to click apply just to save the settings, which copies the settings across to the other publishing agents, and just a point on that makes us, if I go back to here really quickly, so it's copied the settings across those publishing agents. So we are highly available out of the box without the need for a SQL database. So we're sort of reducing the infrastructure again, making the deployment much easier and more cost effective because we don't have to worry about making that SQL database highly available as well. So yeah, I'll publish those applications. So I think at this point, what I'll do is I'll minimize this and go to and look at it from a user perspective. So as Malcolm showed, there are a number of different clients, so we can connect in a number of different ways really. I'll start by using just the Windows client here. Now I've already connected, and here you can see I've got the applications, which is similar to what we saw in the console a second ago. We got the desktop there. I don't yet see the new applications that I've just published, but if I refresh, or if I logged off, or it's the first time I was logging in, then I would see those applications. So I'm going to go and open PowerPoint. And there we can see PowerPoint opened, and if I do Word as well, I'll get Word open, and we can see down at the bottom it appears like it's running, with my other applications on this desktop. And also we can configure it to provide shortcuts on the desktop, which I'll show you in a second on the Mac client, and also in the start menu as well. So if we were just wanting to provide a certain set of applications to the users and not full desktops, and this is a great way of doing that. But, we can see it's all pretty normal PowerPoint, and it's a very quick and fluid performance. Whether it comes across over the GoToAssist, I hope so, but it's a very fluid performance, and we are, as Malcolm mentioned, built on top of RDP. And we fully support Remote FX, which has gained huge strides since release of RDP 8 and RDP 10. It works very effectively over the WAN now, and we inherit those features going forward as Microsoft improve that side of things as well. So let's close these. I'm going to head over to the HTML5 client. So any browser supporting HTML5, we can give access to users through. And that would mean they don't need to install the application on the client, on the end user device. So if they're if it's a BYOD scenario, you haven't got the ability to easily install that client, then this might be a better option. It does provide, if I log in while I talk, the ability to push out the RAS client, and it will auto detect if it's there and offer to install it, and you can also download it from there if you want. But if we're just looking at the HTML5 here, so I can open it in exactly the same way. So I double click on that. So by default, I've got it set up to open PowerPoint, and give it a second there to open. There it goes. I already had a session open there. So again, it's launched it in the same way. So you could log in through the web portal that way. But also, what we can do is you can change the default here. But if I right click here, I can say open in the HTML5 client, and we'll see it opening here. And also, if I give you an example of this, let's open up another document. So I've got two documents open now. So down at the bottom here, you can see previously existing open application, Notepad. I can switch between that. But also if I click, let's do a new one again. Something's. Okay, brilliant. So there, I can also flick between multiple documents I've got open within the application. So even though I'm not presented with a full desktop and I'm going through the HTML5 client, I can navigate around and open more applications and switch between the two. The reason why I wanted to show you that was because that sort of functionality is across the whole native client suite. So whether you're connecting from an iPad or Android device or iPhone, Raspberry Pi, you get that same functionality to be able to switch quickly between applications, and it becomes on smaller form factor devices, that becomes a very useful feature to actually make it useful to do some work. Now, just to finish off connecting from the client point of view, let me minimize that. I'm going to connect over to my MacBook. So here you can see that got the Parallels client, looks very similar. But what I wanted to show you is slightly different here is this can be deployed and sort of, minimized, and I can just get the icons on the desktop. So again, if I double click on that, oops, too many clicks, I think. All right, demo gods, let me connect through here. No, let's go to a full desktop. So there we go, it's connected to a full desktop in this instance, and obviously I've got, well, we're all familiar with a full desktop. But just if I just disconnect that and just finish off the point I was making here, you can provide them access to the applications just by providing a shortcut on the desktop, so they don't actually have to go in and open or connect to the client here. Okay, so I'm going to go back now to the console and just really pick on a few more important features. This is where we can configure certain elements, but what I wanted to show you was the management on the sessions. So again, Malcolm touched on it, that through the client management, we can manage the end user devices, which are Windows based, and we can actually shadow and connect to those, and from a help desk point of view, help there. But we can do a similar thing from the remote desktop point of view. So we can go here, we can see the sessions. I can then get management options. I can log them off, send them a message, disconnect them if they weren't already connected. I can also show the processes on there. So if the user's having an issue with a particular process, I could just go ahead and kill that process. And it currently based on just on the session, but I could do it across all the servers as well, should I want to. Just going back into this groups. So as you can see, I've only got one RDSH host in my environment, in my demo environment here. But if I had, obviously more, I might want to group them together. So I might want to have a set of session hosts which are just publishing particular applications to the users, or maybe another set or another group which is publishing desktops to users, or maybe another one which has got an older operating system. Let's say it might even be as far back as 2003. It's 32-bit. We've got this legacy application that we can't get off. We can't deploy into a Windows 10 type environment. Then we can host and publish that just from a different group of users. And if from the user point of view, if they're connecting here and they see their list of applications, they don't know whether it's coming from 2012 or 2016 or 2003. So that gives us this very sort of agnostic approach, or very tailored approach on delivering applications and things. Load balancing. I want to pick up on this because we're not just simply round robin load balancing. So when a user's connecting or requests a desktop connection, so if they've come to their client and clicked on Windows 10, there's obviously some logic in the background, which desktop shall we send them to, and things. It's not just based on round robin. It's a bit more intelligent than that. We can base it on number of sessions, memory, and CPU. So we could have the scenario where we're connecting a user to a session host server that's actually got more users on than the other one, but because there's less resource being used, and that's the best desktop for them. So just a little example of the load balancing there. Publishing, we've seen quick keypad. I can't really show you this in great depth, but just to give you an idea of what it is when users are connecting from an Android device or an iPad or something like that, we can give them a little menu bar, gives them shortcuts. So a good one is Control P. So if they're in a document, we can give them a quick shortcut to fire off the printing process, which leads me nicely on to the printing, universal printing, which is loosely managed here, but there isn't an awful lot of management to do, to be honest. It works out of the box, and essentially any printer that's connected to the end user device, when they connect through to their desktop or applications, then the printers will be available. It's using a universal driver, so it's optimized for WAN in those scenarios. We can support scanning. We can, as already mentioned, manage the devices. You can see who's connected. If it is a managed device, we can power it on and reboot it. So that's supporting Wake on LAN and things, and also in Shadow as well there. So we can take over that actual device to help them out if there's any issues. Policies, again, Malcolm touched on this, but this is where we can make it as easy as possible for users when they're connecting. So if the client has been installed, or they've installed it themselves, or we've pushed it out through some mechanism, then we can provide I'll carry on. We can click on there and we can define, are they allowed to redirect drives? Are they allowed to redirect the clipboard? Is printer universal printing switched on? What's the color depth? All the sort of settings that you don't really want the user to get involved with. We can set it here all centrally, and we can be a bit more intelligent on, well, okay, we know where they're connecting remotely because they come through a secure gateway. We'll give them a different set of options which optimizes that remote session connection, or internally we can allow them to redirect drives and things like that. And then last couple of things to mention, monitoring. So we can monitor all the servers or components in the environment. And again, this is all part of the one license. There's no additional, I just want to deploy VDI, you're forced to have a certain license, or because I want to go down a cheaper route and deploy a session host, or there's a more expensive license from Parallels. There's none of that. It's all included in the one license. And this monitoring is also included. So gives us a good overview of what's going on in the environment. Are the servers running out of resources based on the number of sessions? So it gives us good information on, okay, we need to scale out our servers in this environment. And then we also have reporting, which is not configured here, so apologies for that, but we do have a full reporting capability. So if we need to see historic information on how many users connected at any one point, or what applications are being used, we can provide all that information from the reporting here. Now, one last thing, just wanted to show you, because I think it's a really cool feature. Going back to the publishing, clicking on this Word application here, and obviously we've got where it's published from and a bit of information, but this licensing tab, we can have some license management. So if we enable this, we can say, well, Word's only allowed 4 users, and that's license management is for that application across any backend delivery. So if it's coming from a session host or a VDI instance, or even the physical PC, we can manage that license and number of licenses that are used. So yeah, just wanted to point that out. I think that's it from me, from a really quick demo. Hopefully that gave you a good sense of how easy it is to manage. It's all from one location, and connecting and publishing applications and connecting to those applications. So Malcolm, are you still with me?
Yeah, I'm still here. Hopefully I can go back to sharing my screen. Can you hear me now? Can somebody confirm that they can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Okie doke. So in the last sort of 10 minutes or so, I wanted to give you a quick bit of background on the partner program that we haven't put in place, because This for me is particularly important because it's all very well us having a really good product as we see it, but we want to make sure that those partners that we're working with deem this to be a good product for their customers also are supported by the team at Parallels. So I'm going to quickly, I'm not going to go through every single one of these slides because there's quite a lot in them, but what I do want to do is to at least skim through them to give you some background on the commercial elements that we have in place for our partners, but also to just give you a bit of background on what does the partner program look like from a visual perspective. So first and foremost, this opening slide here gives you a link. This link is to our partner portal, which is, as it mentions there, parallels.com/partners. At the partner portal, you can very quickly sign up as a partner, and I'll show you which of the different stages that you would get through, depending on where you are. But the idea behind this slide deck is to help you, simply and easily deliver this solution to your customer base, whilst making sure that you're generating the right levels of margin for your business. So let me try and go through. I don't need to go through that. So as I mentioned, the idea behind it is to ensure that we give you all the tools that are necessary to generate revenue from the sale of Parallels RAS very, very quickly and easily. We're seeing this already with a number of our partners. One of the things that we seem to be experiencing often than not is when partners have struggled to go back in and either renew licensing from competition because they've struggled on price. Also, they've struggled because customers have been pushed in the direction of cloud. Of course, we want to give people the ability to either deliver that cloud or the on-premise solution, as well as making sure that the license types that we put together will suit your business depending on how you want to deliver Parallels. So as I mentioned, this will give you a bit of background on how we're approaching things, and also how we're approaching the piece of work that we're doing with distribution and making sure that it's really, really quick and easy for you guys to get certified on the sale of Parallels. The actual cycle that we go through is relatively straightforward. It's probably not too different from many other organizations that are out there, but one or two things on here that I'd certainly call out. I'd certainly call out the deal reg program that we have in place. We have a very attractive deal reg program that's in place for opportunities above £5,000 sterling, which again, I'll take you through some of those numbers. And where we're trying to obviously invest in our partners, not only are we investing that way, but we're also making sure we're investing in the ability to drive net new opportunities, make sure it's really quick and easy to get the teams trained up. In some cases where we are generating leads and opportunities internally and we feel a partner has the right, I guess, experience or background, we certainly will work with that partner to ensure that we can deliver that solution through them. And that's happened fairly regularly on a recent basis. And hopefully we can go through some of that now. Okay, this is the standard process. So hopefully today, through joining this call, you'll be relatively interested in taking the Parallels RAS solution to market. My first recommendation is to go to that Parallels portal, as I mentioned, parallels.com/partners, and sign up to the partner program. It's very, very quick and easy. And from that point, we'll work with you and the guys at obviously distribution in this instance, obviously from a Northamber perspective, to deliver this solution in market very quickly. So Northamber themselves have their own certified technical professional that can also help you, as much as obviously we can help you with its delivery. In terms of how we approach, obviously the partner piece, we have distribution partners all over the world. Today, obviously, we're working very closely with the team from Northamber, and we're driving, obviously, a good chunk of our revenue through those partners. On the right hand side here, you'll notice there is well, there's 4 different tiers, if you like. We have some partners that we would class as unmanaged. This is very much our breadth partner base, but we ideally want to move our partners into one of the other states, being a managed partner or a certified or premier partner. I'll explain that in a moment. The requirements that we have for each of those different levels are relatively straightforward in terms of registration. From an application approval perspective, that's something that I can do very quickly and easily, and we would expect obviously our partners to work closely with us on net new opportunities. We would ensure that you're listed on our website. We agree on potential business that we'll go after, making sure that we do have a very clear plan together. From a benefits point of view, irrespective of whether you're a certified partner or not, as a registered partner, you do get access to not for resale licenses to support things like proof of concept, and we'll make sure that there's free training available. So we regularly hold online training, as well as we're looking at delivering some partner training with the team at North Amber in the not so distant future. That training will include both technical training and sales training, so look out for that in the not so distant future. From a deal registration point of view, we offer deal registration both at certified and premier, depending on the level that you are. We will make sure that you get the right level of support from a margin point of view. And then there's a number of other areas there. As a premier partner, that you get support from us. As I mentioned earlier, I'm more than happy to share these slides with you and the team at North Amber. We also have a partner program for what we would class as our cloud partners. These actually take advantage of, we have a SPLA key, a service provider license key, which gives you the ability to actually deliver RAS on our behalf. Again, this license is also available through the team at North Amber. If you're interested in delivering this as your own solution, please reach out for us and we can work with you around how we deliver it. As I mentioned earlier, we have a number of different partner types, but our core focus in terms of delivery of those partners into market is relatively straightforward. We have distribution partners and SPLA partners. Now, North Amber is both. And then we work with a number of very large ISVs in terms of direct delivery, albeit within the UK, we do less of that. Our tendency is through the team at distribution. And as with this call today, we're working very closely with North Amber for the delivery of RAS. And then if you're obviously a value-added partner, which many of you will be, then the obvious choice is to work with North Amber. And then if you're looking at delivering this as your own service, then you can obviously look at the SPLA piece. As I said, I'm conscious of time, so I don't want to go through all of this. Again, I'll share this with you. This just gives you a bit of background on how we approach the VAR partners that we have. Depending, obviously, the type of partner that you are, we do give you particular types of support, but there are certain requirements that we have from those partners. From a licensing perspective, as Paul mentioned earlier, the licensing is relatively straightforward. We have an all-in-one license, so everything that Paul showed you today, including training and delivery, is included in that licensing. You can deliver that either through an annual subscription on our standard license, or you can deliver that through SPLA on a month-by-month recurring revenue piece. And at the end of each month, that is obviously rolled up into an invoice, which we then bill against. And as it mentions on the right here, it's difficult with this include. There are, certainly for the UK, we do work with a number of different key verticals. We have a lot of success in education and in the public sector, as well as a lot of growth in areas like professional services, manufacturing, energy sector, construction, and then probably not as much in the UK on the retail side of things, albeit we have seen some success there, and that is growing. There's certain verticals, as I mentioned. I would certainly say for us, we've had some very, very positive feedback in the mid-market space, and we have a number of opportunities at the moment that are in 4 figures supporting mid-market. And I think the rationale behind that is a lot of those larger organizations want that flexibility that we can offer, but they don't always want to sell enterprise price points. From a cost point of view, it states here, obviously this is a US slide, but it's approximately $99 on annual subscription. This is an end user, this isn't the price through partner, which equates to something in around the region of about £66 sterling. And then a similar number, it's probably less, I would say probably about 3.5, 4 sterling on annual subscription through this bar agreement that we have in place. What's the time? I've got 1 minute. Right. So this is always very interesting to our customer base. This is the margins that we can offer to support the different tiers. So any new business that you bring to us, and as it mentions there, new business, whether it be cross-sale, etc., we immediately offer a 15% discount on registered accounts. Anybody can pretty much register as long as it gets approval. Moving to certified and premier status, 20 and 25%. To gain access to be a premier partner, I guess the core things or core requirements that we put in place is to have individuals certified within their organizations on RAS. To become a certified professional on RAS, we require 2 individuals, and to become a premier managed partner, we require 4. Then moving on to the deal reg, which I mentioned earlier. Then from a register point of view, we don't offer deal reg, but we do at certified and premier, albeit on certified, it's only done at 10% for invitation only. This gives you the ability to gain up to the 40% margin on every sale that you're making on Parallels RAS. And then of course we offer a renewals rate of 10% on any business that comes through. And bearing in mind that our renewals rate is in excess of 80%, it's a relatively simplistic process once you've captured those customers. I won't go through this BLAR piece, I can share that with you. And then there's certain other components that we have in place in terms of around business plans, lead generation, working with you on those, working with you to develop specific pipeline, making sure that from a renewals point of view that we're working with you around those renewals to ensure that it's quick and easy for them to happen. And then things like training, marketing, we will offer that support. So if you wanted, for example, to run a webinar out to your customer base or run an event out to your customer base, then please reach out to us, because this is something that we can set up pretty easy on your behalf. And it mentions there around things like syndicated content. We can provide all that content for you, including sort of emails, etc., that are co-branded, but you just need to reach out to us for those to happen. Okay, so that's interesting. So from a partner program perspective, this is what the partner program looks like. And if I quickly come out of that, I have actually opened it here. So this is our partner portal. So when you log into the partner portal, it gives you the ability. So I need to log into it. I've got it here. Here we go. This is the partner portal. When you log into the partner portal, it does actually give you access to the different types of solutions that we have. So in this instance, we're looking at the RAS solution. On the left-hand side here, you would just log in. You would get approval from my side, and then it would take you on. I timed out because I did this earlier. Let me just refresh that. Excuse me. Refresh this. Sorry, please bear with me. Right. Okay. So when you go into the partner portal and you select the VAR side for RAS, it's very, very quick and easy for you to set up a deal reg, manage any of your renewals. And if you need any support from us, again, the portal, all you do is select the different areas, whether it be around training, etc., resourcing, and it takes you directly into those types of things. So as I mentioned, if you go into deal reg, it takes you straight to deal reg. If you don't have a login, you just log directly into that one, and then it takes you through that process. It's very, very, very quick and easy. Okay, so I think that pretty much rounds things up. I hope that was of use for you to get some background on the Parallels side of things. We wanted to get across a bit of background on around what Parallels is, as well as give you a bit of a demo around the solution. As you can see, it is very, very quick and easy to not only deliver but also manage. And I also wanted to ensure that from a partner perspective, you understand how quick and easy it is actually to register as a partner. I mean, literally, you could come straight off this call right now and sign up for as a partner within a few minutes. And then from that point, we would work with you to ensure that we can get you through certification very, very quickly. And as I mentioned earlier, the team at North Amber, probably around the May timeframe, will be doing some face-to-face certification training at their facility in Weybridge. And that training will cover either the sales, because we actually have sales certification as well as technical certification, and we will cover them both at the same time, albeit probably in different sessions. So with that, I don't know whether the team at North Amber want to say anything, but I certainly want to thank everybody for their time. If you have any, oh, there's some questions I think coming. Okay, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to type them into the chat, and we can answer those. Unless there's anything else that you would like to cover, Paul?
No, nothing from me. Let's see if any questions come in.
Okay, good. And then if there's anything from the North Amber team, if not, we'll give it a second if they want to pop up. Otherwise, I'd like to say thank you ever so much for your time. I will reach out to you through the guys at North Amber, so hopefully we can get you registered as a partner and can see how quick and easy it is to develop this solution. And hopefully at the same time, we can give you a bit of background around the success that we have. So we have a call around support staff. In terms of support, our support, which are multilingual, are typically based out of Malta. And we probably have in the region about 12 support staff that are sat within Malta. And then on the ground, we have about 5 people that are on the ground in the UK, 2 focus on RAS, and then we have the rest that are focused on the broader Parallels piece. In addition to that, from a developer point of view, we have probably about 80 people that sit in our developer team that are based across Malta, Moscow, and Seattle. But hopefully there is, I don't think we've really had any issues around support. We have very good SLAs in place to support that piece. Depending on obviously what the requirement is, we'll give you very, very quick response time. If there are any issues, then it's very straight. It should be relatively straightforward to reach out to me, and I can certainly escalate it very quickly. Hopefully does that answer your question? Hopefully, just sort of say yes or no. Perfect. Thank you very much. Any other questions? No? Well, okay. Well, I'd like to thank you very much for your time. We really do appreciate it. Please look out for some of the updates that we're working on with the team at North Amber. And please go to the parallels.com website /partners and register as soon as you can. And I'll reach out to you with the team and make sure that you get all the support you need to deliver this. And if you do have any specific opportunities that you want to cover off with us, then again, it's very, very quick and easy to deliver that support. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Paul, and thank you very much to the team at North Amber. I shall
Thanks, Malcolm.
Stop there. Perfect. Thanks, guys. Have a really great day. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Apologies, I've just noticed that there are a couple of other tell you what I'll do, Wayne, because I've just noticed your note there. I will reach out to you direct, and we can talk about those particular issues, because it should be pretty straightforward for me to answer your question. Thank you very much, guys. I'll be in touch.